What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to another Division 2 video. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. If you happen to be new to the channel, then ground and pound that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on post notifications, that way you know each and every time a video is uploaded or a stream goes live. Just reach up there and trigger that bell. But enough of my rambling, let's hop into this build. A lot of people aren't really utilizing it or using it just because it was a little underwhelming. But it has got a recent little increase in damage buff, and I said, so what? Let's hop into it. Let's make a build out of it and see what it can actually do. So yes, it is the ACS 12. Its base damage is 69.2k. It has Optimist on it, which is weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine. Requires 5 or less offensive Legos, and we have exactly 5. Allegro in the second slot, 10% rate of fire, and of course double duty. While holstered, reloading from empty gives you a 20% of your magazine back as free ammo. Can occur once every 30 seconds. And then in the mod slot, we just added on a little accuracy and a little stability. Now moving on to our secondary, it is the custom P416G3, 21.1k base damage. It has Optimist on it as well. Weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine. And then, of course, Allegro. And then Zen doesn't really matter. And then whatever mods you choose, and that is your personal preference, then by all means mod it accordingly. But I'm going with accuracy, plus 10 rounds in the magazine, more accuracy in the vertical grip, and then some stability. Now let's hop into the gear itself. Let's start out with our chest piece. Not the greatest of chest piece. It has critical hit chance on it. If I absolutely could, I would prefer going with a chest piece with the likes of this ghillie guard, where it has a lot more weapon damage. But I cannot change out Bloodsucker and put Unstoppable Force here, so we are left with this one. But beggars can't be choosers, and it works out really well just as is. 96-64 bonus armor, 6% weapon damage, 11% crit hit chance, Unstoppable Force. Killing an enemy grants 2% weapon damage for every 10,000 max armor. Requires 7 or more defensive Legos, and we have 8. In the mod slots, we got 3390 health, 6% health regen, 629 armor regeneration. In the next slot, we have 3341 bonus armor, 405 armor regeneration, and 2.5% total armor. And then in the offensive system mod slot, we have 1% weapon damage and 5% shotgun damage. Now moving on to our mask. It is a China Light Industries mask. We have 2 pieces on this build. For one piece, you get 10% explosive damage. For the second piece, you get 10% shotgun damage. The attributes are 6% cooldown reduction, 277 skill power, and of course, we're utilizing Spotter. Plus 10% weapon damage to pulsed enemies. Requires 5 or more in the utility Legos, and we have 5 exactly. So anything to get that little extra damage out there. Now moving on to the second piece of the China Light Industries. It is the knee pads, and we have in the attribute slot skill power at 343, and then we went ahead and went with some explosive damage to make our grenades a little more potent, right? So since we are already getting 10% explosive damage for having the one-piece China Light, then we're just adding on an additional explosive damage, so that way potentially we can one-shot someone with just a grenade. But if you want to, it does have an offensive mod slot in the knee pads, but I can't utilize it because the Optimist talent requires 5 or less, and if I used an offensive mod in that mod slot, that would put me at 6 offensive, and then the Optimist would no longer be viable on our weapons, right? Now moving on to the holster. It is a Fenris A and B group. For having one piece, you get 10% assault rifle damage. The attributes are 15,949 health, and then 3,330 health on a kill. And then in the talents, we are using Devastating, plus 5% weapon damage. Now on to the backpack. It is a ghillie guard backpack, and we get 20% hazard protection for having 2 pieces. For one piece, we get that 5% total armor. The attributes, we have 8197 bonus armor, 6% cooldown reduction, and then 4.5% weapon damage. And of course, we have Safeguard. We would like to have On the Ropes here, but it requires 7 utilities, and so therefore it would be unable to be used since we only have 5 utilities. So at least Safeguard can benefit us if we're having to take cover and then drop our chem launcher at our feet. So that way we get a little bit of more healing out of it, and it's just not just a wasted slot with a talent that we cannot use. Now, if you have one that has the likes of this 511 here, that has both Vital and Hardened on it, along with weapon damage, then that would actually meet out really well. But as you can see, my armor drops significantly, almost 20k. So therefore, we are going with the Ghillie Guard, because not only having the second piece give us 20% hazard protection, but it has a ton of mod slots on it. And as you can see, it has 2 more, for a total of 2 defensive, and then of course that utility, so that we hit that 5 utilities for utilizing spotter, and also 7 right at, so that way we can use Unstoppable Force. But in this mod slot we have 3011 bonus armor, 3% total armor, 5% health regen, 108 skill power, 3% bleed damage, and then 1% increased disrupt. So mainly we're not really utilizing skill power that much. We just needed a utility mod in there, so that way we can at least reach those 5, so that way spotter is unlocked. So basically that utility mod is just a filler. But you probably have better ones, and have ones that have, talents on them as far as, the bleed damage or increased disrupt, anything of that nature that you can probably more or less utilize. But like I said, it's just a filler spot, so that way we meet those 5 utilities for spotter. So the basis is, when you're in a mid-range fight, you use your AR. For up close and personal, you go with the ACS-12. And you're probably thinking, well, there are better shotguns out there. And you would be correct, such as the likes of the double barrel, also known as the Cassidy from Division 1. It can almost practically 2-tap with that build, but unfortunately I do not have one of those, and the ACS-12 is very underutilized. And plus, on top of that, the main thing, I have complete potato aim. And if you've seen any of my gameplay, then you know my aim is not all that great. So the ACS-12 is pretty much, you could say it's potato aim proof. Because it does have a significant rate of fire for a shotgun, and as you can see, almost 70k damage. So it comes in really, really well for me personally, for those like myself who have complete potato aim, right? And then of course, it utilizing Optimist and only having 20 rounds, then that's giving it even an additional boost once it's halfway through the magazine. So basically, every 2 rounds, you're gaining 3% weapon damage. So when you go through half the magazine, would be 10 rounds, you're getting a 15% damage boost in that alone. So let's just say if it's 10% of 69k, so you're basically going to be hitting at 75k at half the magazine, and then you can see where it goes from there. The damage just keeps climbing. And that goes the same with the P416 with Optimist on it. As you continue to shoot, the damage goes up even more, so that way you're outputting more damage. Now it is absolutely great for anything like normalized, such as the normalized DZ or conflict. But if you want to try your hand inside the occupied, by all means, it can hang with the, basically everybody else. But you are more or less a little on the squishy side, but not too much, because you still have 242k armor. So it's all about your playstyle. And then of course we're utilizing spotter, like I said, for that extra 10% damage on all of that. So basically, if you're halfway through your magazine on the ACS-12, you're at 75k, and then you pulse again, or just pulse in general, to get that 10% additional on top of that. So you're pushing consistently over 85k base damage by way of spotter and utilizing Optimist when you get in basically those last 5 to 6 rounds. And you're firing them at a stupid rate with the RPM on the ACS-12, the showstopper from Division 1. So it's a lot of fun to use. So our grenades actually do 348k. And then let's hop over to the stat sheet itself. 69.224 weapon damage, that 11% crit chance by way of chest piece, not really that much to write home about. 21.5% all weapon damage bonus, 25% going to assault rifles, and then we have 36% going to shotgun. So just for the shotgun alone, you are getting 57.5%. And then by way of AR, you're getting 46.5%. So not too shabby. And of course, there's as follows in our defense stats: 242 armor, 51 371 max health, 3330 health on kill, 28 511 health regen, and then 20% hazard protection for those grenades coming at you, or for those dominating OP NPCs that are in the dark zone. 20% bleed resistance, 20% blind, burn, disorient, disrupt, and shock. And then there's our skill power as follow: 14% skill cooldown, but like I said, we're not really utilizing any skill, but it is a lot of fun. I had fun testing it out. Shout out to Tommy, L, Baruka Boy. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you.